family. Guess who's back? Selma's back. Took a break from YouTube because I had an emergency. Welcome back. You've had some busy times. Someone says leave on Friday. Where are you going on Friday? Go to my sister's house in Indianapolis. Cat says, like, are you shaking your head at me? Cat says, you know what I hate? I hate how sometimes YouTube will totally delete a whole sentence that I carefully curated. I believe I said that right. Hey, Heavenly Star, Diego Bear, I'm making you an art. Are you? Say it. Curated? Hey, Long John. Long John, how you been? Haven't seen you for a bit. Shaking my head. Cat is shaking her head at me. She can't be shaking her head at me. I'm looking at an old book. Old book of mine. Looking for a particular poem. Hey, let's see. Hi, Jessica. I can't wait to see it, Heavenly Star. The B word. The B word. Um, so many words are coming to mind. Blueberries? That's a double B word. Blueberries. Blackberries. Gooseberries. Does it have anything to do with berries? Boysenberries. You guys didn't see that one coming, did you? And he says, yes, Fire Rose for your next. Oh, wow. That's going to be awesome. My next hat is going to be designed by Heavenly Star. It's going to be a Heavenly Star original. All right. I'm going to read a couple poems. Did I miss one? Long John says, been okay, still dealing with some dental crap. I know how that is. Is that a nose? Heavenly Star says, need to come puppy mommy. Hey, Stitch. I bet it's going to be cool. Yeah, I have. I don't know how many tattoos I have. Maybe 9-ish. Nothing big. Nothing, like lots of smaller ones. I never really wanted to do a sheath or anything like that. Stitch says, hey, Yogi, can you please send me a hug? I can do more than just send you a hug. I can send you a heart full of love. I can send you a hug and I can send you love. I can send you friendship. I can send you compassion and care. Stitch, if you only knew how much we all love you. That's a pig nose? That is a pig nose. Why are we going with the noses today? What's with the nose theme? Long John is tickled by the pig nose. Hey, relaxing, my friend, how are you? A blueberry tattoo. Wouldn't that just be a dot? Wouldn't that be a blue dot? I don't know what frame of mind I was in when I wrote this. The first poem in my Second book. And I prey upon a single tear, and yearn to cry 1,000 more. So sweet the tender hand that wipes away each tear. And I believe it was the comforting thought of Spirit, the comforting thought of God, that when you are crying, when you are at your worst, when you are literally shedding 1,000 tears, there's a gentle hand that is present to wipe away every tear. It's the presence of God. Hey, Danny. Bongjan says, Weber tattoo looks like some kind of skin cancer. I'd go to that because I got to go to the dermatologist once or twice a year. They would be like, "Whoa, that doesn't look good. We're gonna have to prep you for surgery right away." And I'd be like, "It's a tattoo, guys." I'm looking for a particular poem. All right, Kat, are you ready for this? This is called 1,000 Sighs. As a sigh sweeps past the open window of the soul, a glimpse of life forever fleeting, swept past to stormy seas unknown. Let me start over again. Sorry, guys. It's been a while since I've read this. I want to do it justice. As a sigh sweeps past the open window of the soul, a glimpse of life forever fleeting swept past to stormy seas unknown. And you and I have always been a moment shared upon the edge of time. For I have loved you 1,000 lifetimes, each one a blessing I adore. Maybe I'll read more from this book a little bit later. Let's catch up in the chat. That was for you, Kat. Lee says, Yogi, do you have a favorite poet? It depends on the time you ask. I love Rumi, the Persian Sufi poet. I absolutely love Rumi. But Mary Oliver and Galway Kinnell, those three. I'll read some Galway Kinnell. I'll read some Mary Oliver. Same idea as Footprints in the Sand, absolutely. There are universal themes in poetry you can return to over and over. Hey, Sniper. Hey, Josh. What kind of work are you doing, Josh? Stitch says, hee, Yogi doesn't know. Man, there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't know. Hey, RW. But what particularly don't I know? Oh. I see it. All right. Stitch, I'm reading this for you. Also, I made a promise. You guys ready? Booger. It's a message for today. I can't do it with a straight face. I'm not sure I can read it again. We will come back to that message. We're going to come back to the message of Booger. Why Cat was putting okay. Now I get it. I was wondering what is with, but you know what? I didn't see any boogers in the nose emojis. Hi, Shirley. So I was drawing a blank. Just going to read a couple poems from Dancing Molecules. I wish to fall asleep with your name hanging from my lips, and to wake within an instant when my own name is forgotten and the dawn holds only you. Stitch, Stitch like that. So it says, Jessica, I missed you. Jessica, Stitch, did me saying booger cheer you up? Because if you want, for the rest of the live stream, I will take booger breaks where whatever I'm doing, I will stop and I will look into the camera and say, Stitch, this is for you, booger. If it'll make you laugh like that. How you doing, Nightmare? I'm looking for a particular poem. This is called The Abyss. So we're going to wait a little bit. The Abyss. And I stood upon the ridge, the abyss stretching endlessly within, and I knew that I could not yet fly with such weight upon my heart. Shame, fear, anger, judgment led to the soul that yearns for gold. Tears formed and fell, as violent as a summer storm, and just as brief the storm subdued. So I stood upon the ridge, abyss stretching endlessly within, and I knew that I could not fly. I could not yet fly with such weight upon my heart. So I gave my heart to love, to God. I leapt and I flew. Such is booger from this day forward. Hey, Joshua. Quick question. What's the question, my friend? Hey, Coffee Cake. How are you guys? Hey, Shirley. Is there a particular poem that you like that you would want me to read? I'd be happy to. Sniper says, notice that the abyss was observed looking from within. Man, great observation, Sniper. We can do breath work. It's laughing. Long John said booger. He says, look later, but they all make me cry right now. So, gotcha. I do not want you crying. Someone said boogies. Is there any kind of distinction made between a booger and, well, boogies, I guess, is plural, right? A booger would be one solid nose particle versus boogies, which would be several. I am not a boogerologist. I'm not an expert on boogers. but that's just my pick. Hey, Cap. Shirley says you all need to get that book. But thank you so much, Shirley. I was reading from. I had a particular poem I wanted to read for Kat. This was my second book called A Thousand Sighs. As long as it says Stitch, yes, Booger, I did. This is Cat and Jack's fault, by the way, that we're having an extended conversation on boogers. I know that she will find a way or attempt to find a way to turn this back on me, saying it was my fault. But we all know. Into the great wide open. Thank you, RW. Basically, poetry. So we're going to do some breath work. We did the 4-4 breath earlier today. As it's a little later in the day, we want to be able to unwind. We want to have a sleep hygiene, something that prepares us to go to bed. And we also want a deeper sense of relaxation because over the course of the day, even if we've done some breath work, we have also accumulated a little bit of emotional weight, a little bit of weight that weighs us down. So we want to shed that. All right, that's an interesting distinction. Little kids get boogies, and as they get older, they turn to boogers. So it's an age-related thing. So what happens when you're 60? I have not taken my supplement yet, but can you remind me in exactly 30 minutes if you're hanging out still? So breath work. Let me know who wants to participate. We are going to do the 4-8 breath. We're going to breathe in for 4, using that ujjayi breath, breathe out for 8. The abyss isn't blackness or darkness, Eric. It's the potential energy that can access when you are in that flow of unseen current from the unknowing. I like that, Cypher. For me, it was a step into the nothingness from which everything stems from. But you can't go there. You can't leap into the abyss with all of that emotional weight. That's I use the metaphor of lead for the soul that yearns for gold. The soul is yearning for that gold, but the ego, emotionally, we're holding on to that lead, and you can't leap into the abyss of pure spirit, as you're clinging to all the dark weight of ego matter. All right. So for those who are going to participate, we're going to do 10 rounds, 4-8 breathing. Thank you, Cypher. That's true alchemy, Eric, from Matter to Spirit. Yeah, and when I wrote that, I was very much into the alchemical process. As I wrote in the beginning, I wrote my first book as if I was looking out of a window and seeing this wonderful spiritual garden that was beckoning, inviting me. That was Does God Have a Hero? And then when this book came around, A Thousand Sighs, it was like that window to the garden disappeared, and I was there. I was in the garden. Well, who would be controlling the ego, Nightmare? It would be the ego attempting to control the ego, which just leads to more ego and an ego satisfaction of look what I've done. Just my opinion. Just don't take the ego seriously. It's not who you are. It's a figment of our collective and individual imagination. When you see through it, it's no longer an issue. It'll still show up. It always will. Stitch says booger. And yay for breath work. All right. Here we go. You ready? We are going to close our eyes. And we're going to notice the breath wherever it is occurring right now. If we're a little stressed, we're a little heavy from the day, the accumulation of a long day, we might be breathing a little high in the chest. We might be breathing slightly through the mouth. We're going to bring a slight change, and we're going to breathe through the nose. Going to breathe in through the nose, and we're going to exhale through the nose. But right now, that's all. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. We're going to elongate the exhale just a little bit, not in any forceful way. Just notice that as you breathe in, you release the breath, you're going to exhale a little bit longer. And with every exhale, starting with our toes, we're going to relax a little deeper. As you breathe in, notice your thighs, and as you exhale, notice that your thighs are relaxing. As you breathe in, notice your belly, and as you exhale, notice that your belly is relaxed. Continuing the breath, our shoulders and arms are relaxing. The back of the neck is relaxing. Breathing in, and we relax our jaw as we exhale. The temples, all the way to the top of the head, everything's relaxed. Bringing the attention down to the belly. Notice how the belly rises and falls. Easily, no effort. And with that same effortless action, we're going to bring in that ujjayi breath, that ha sound, very gently making that snoring sound. Breathing in with that light snore, breathing out with that light snore. Very calming, very soothing. That breath is our best friend. We can use it anytime. And out. I'm going to count to 3. And then we're going to do a first breath, breathing in through the nose, using that ujjayi breath for a count of 4, noticing the pause, and then exhaling through the nose for a count of 8. That gentle snore the entire time. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let go of the breath. Letting it settle, relax, its own easy pattern, its own rhythm. Just letting breath flow in and out, not trying to control it in any way. When you're ready, move about a little bit. Just sway back and forth a little bit. Start moving your fingers, roll your shoulders a little bit. Turn your head. Open your eyes. And I will see you in the chat. And I love you. Want to jump in the conversation just a little bit. So, Lee, I would encourage you to give up the fight against your ego, as it's the ego fighting against the ego. And guess who wins and guess who loses? The ego wants nothing more than a battle. Be gentle, smile at it. All you have to do is recognize you are not the ego. It's not who you are. It's a mistaken identity. You are not the narrator in your head. You are not the thoughts that you're having. You are the witness to it all. And even then, the witness itself disappears back into Brahma, disappears back into the infinite. So, Nightmare, we never let go of the ego. Ever. Because that would be we, that collective we, the ego trying to let go of the ego. That's the entirety of the spiritual path. It's why we are perpetual seekers. Seek and do not find is a line from the Course. If you're seeking a way to escape the ego, it's the ego wishing to escape the ego, and the ego never wants to escape itself. But it loves being on that spiritual path. Just if you were to meditate 10 minutes a day, every day, in a very short time, you would recognize your first recognition. Wait a minute, all these thoughts are running around. All these thoughts that are claiming to be me, the I. Here's the ego. George Harrison wrote about it on Let It Be. I, me, mine. All through the day, all through the night. I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. Rumi wrote a wonderful poem, The Garden of the Mystics. I, me, mine. He, she, we. They, them. These are not terms used within the Garden of the Mystics. Meister Eckhart said, the eye in which God sees me is the same eye in which I see God. There's no ego involved in that. The ego is an appearance, and like all appearances, it's temporary. If we see the temporariness of it, if we realize that we are not that incessant thinking that's going on, that we're not the narrator, we are not even the authors of our life, everything falls into place. By the way, Stitch, are you still here? Hey, Mohammed, my friend, how are you? How are your family? Hey, Rob. Why do we have an ego if it's such a issue? What's the positive outcome? There is no positive outcome in the ego. Zero. Because it doesn't exist. Why do we have an ego? Because we had a belief that we are separate from each other, that we are separate from God. Where was your where were you where was your ego when you were 1 year old? Don't confuse ego with characteristics of a personality, which appear and disappear, but aren't part of the ego. The whole purpose of the ego would be to navigate an illusory world. Mohammed, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hey, Sean. Sean says, "Could you show the?" I don't have everything up to be able to do that, Sean. I'll see by the end of the live stream if I can get things up again. Emma says, "I see. I think I get what you're saying." So the ego isn't a static thing. It's not an entity in and of itself. It's a porous, transitory thing. We add to it. Some things are taken out. Sean says, "Just sent it." So give me a little bit of time. I'd like to watch things first before I play them for everyone. Hey, Skits. Um, let's see. Lee says, if you went on a date and you breathe in, would that potential self-conscious act drive from the ego? Not the breathing, but the self-consciousness would most definitely. Anything that is a judgment comes from the ego. Anything that comes from a judgment. This is good, this is bad. Breathing in and you think, did she notice? Does she think that I'm bored? Did I sigh? All of that. Hey, DB, how are you? It's a beautiful explanation, Cypher. Cypher says the main goal for the ego is separation from a greater unified consciousness. It acts as a veil obscuring one's true divine nature. So we could summarize it, sum it all up. The ego wants self-identification, but because it's illusory, it's a fool's progress. How can an imaginary self want self gratification, self recognition? So because it's illusory, it needs to be self perpetuating as well. So it always making distinctions, always making judgments, always causing separation. And that way it gets exactly what it wants. However, it cannot distinguish between wanting misery, which gives it a purpose, and pleasure, which gives it a purpose as well. For the sense of the ego, and we've seen this, we've seen, uh, falling in love with their own misery. Hey, Lucy. Sniper says, I cannot doubt if my ego is present. It's an interesting thought. It says, help me, Yogi. Nope, you're on your own, Skits. I hate to do that to you, Skits, but you know, Cat led you back towards the dark side yesterday. Nemo says, I think deep down we all want to be better, kind, generous. Deep down, not even that far deep, we are kind. We are generous. We are loving. We're compassionate. So here's a great line from A Course in Miracles. Great lines. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. To the ego, everything is threatening. Everything is threatening. If it's threatening, it's not real. It's part of the illusion. If it's part of the illusion, it's an egoic projection. Just because you perceive something does not make it true. The ego is perceived. Everything that's perceived comes from a projection. Now, here's the key. What do you want to project? The ego is always projecting distinctions, separation. It's always projecting a world in which some people have, some people don't. Or if we choose the right mind, that which exists, that which is never threatened, that which is love, that which is our connection to God, then, and use whatever term you like instead of God if you don't like God. Now we have an opportunity to project. Cat says, wait, what? Oh, about the dark side, you and Skits? Where do necks come from? It's a good question. Does the neck start below the head and go down to the shoulders, or does the neck start at the shoulders and go up to the head? Great metaphysical question. What do you think? Traveling? Hey, Soul Stars. Hey, Daisy. What's up with you? Thank you, relaxing. Thank you for the love. Everyone is saying hi. So let's head over here to AI. In yoga psychology, as well as Buddhist psychology, all of our suffering comes from what's called the five kleshas. The five kleshas are also, klesha means affliction, the five afflictions of the mind. The mind is deluded because we proceed through life based upon our attachments. I like this, I like this, I like this. Based upon our aversions. I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. As well as based upon the false premise that we are a distinct, separate self, apart from others and apart from life. That we're not life itself. God. Our fear of death is another one, because we think as an ego, being small and separate, that we're going to die. As spirit, or in yogic terms, it would be Atman, we don't come and we don't go. We are eternal. That, of course, would be that separate sense of self, would be the ego. Buddhism as well as yoga. Let's go up here to AI. Here's a little detailed breakdown of the ego: our separation from God and others, false identity, fear-based mentality, source of conflict and suffering. Idolatry. It makes an idol of itself and others. Defense against truth. Nothing that really leads to anything good. However, we don't need to go to battle with the ego. We don't need a long pursuit. The very act of forgiveness is in defiance to the ego, because the ego will say, don't do it. They don't deserve it. What's in it for me? If I forgive them, are they going to hurt me? That's the nature of the ego, and that's the nature of egoic forgiveness. But when you truly forgive, you're saying, see you beyond the mistake. And the mistake is always in thinking that we are separate from each other. I see the truth of who you are. And by seeing the truth of who you are, I recognize the truth of who I am. Yep, I can't keep track, Shirley. So, Jessica, the point of what? Danny says, Yogi, you look tired? Not so much tired as sleepy. This is when I start winding down for the day. After I'm done live streaming, I do my breath work. I sort of decompress a bit and get ready for sleep. So is life of the ego a life of suffering? Yes. It's the whole teachings of the Buddha. When the Buddha asked, what do you teach? What is Buddhism? He said, I teach suffering and the way out of suffering. But the key isn't to go to battle with the ego. Yogi needs a weekend of Black Book. What's Black Book meditation? The Four Noble Truths. We're only going to concern ourselves with the first two. Four Noble Truths of Buddha is life is suffering. Sounds pretty bleak, right? Then he tells you life is suffering because we cling to that which is transient, not lasting. We want what we want when we want it. We don't want what we don't want when we don't want it. And so we navigate through life. We really ping pong through it. I like this, don't like that. I like this. When we find something that we love and we say, I'm going to hold this forever, guess what? We can't hold anything forever. However, here's what the Buddha says. There is a way out of suffering, and he'll show you how. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. That's what A Course in Miracles says. We don't need to suffer. Suffering is the belief that we are an ego. It's not the destruction of the ego. It's not fighting the ego. It's not banishing the ego. It's simply seeing that which we are not and then recognizing that which we are. And just because it seems like nothing we do really matters, I'm going to agree with Kat. Everything we do matters because everything we do can give us that clear choice of forgiveness, of choosing love. We can choose love. That's the greatest thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. I can't explain within the rules, Yogi. Thanks, L-Dog. Says, oh, you guys, Star can sing like an angel. We need her up with Yogi. She has a standing invitation, whatever she wants. So the key is nothing that the ego does, which is why we don't want to associate ourselves with only the ego. Just see through it. Hey, Ethan. Odok says suffering is good. It's selfless sometimes. It takes pain from others. You can do that without suffering, though. Suffering is optional. When you are aligned with the joyousness of life itself, then there's no need to suffer. There's no need to take on the suffering of others. There's a different way. The Buddha didn't take on the suffering of others. Krishna didn't take on the suffering of others. However, he showed us a way to transcend suffering and to help others transcend their suffering. The thing is, we don't want to glorify suffering. We don't want to glorify the ego. We just want to see clearly through it. Well, here's what we don't want to do. We don't want to make the ego real, because it isn't. When you see through it, everything changes. You don't need to battle it. You don't even need to question it. You just see through it. I feel like the ego comes in many aspects through in and how we carry ourselves every day, the way we speak. It does. The key, well, the Buddha taught how to get out of suffering. He didn't want you to suffer. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita lays out a 4-point plan on how to get out of suffering. Jessica says, I try to choose love always. Then in that case, Jessica, everything you do has meaning. Everything you do has meaning. Jessica, I personally feel like my life has been blessed with your company. I feel that my time on YouTube is better. Anytime I see you, you brighten up my day. That's the love that you offer. So here's the thing. We can defend our suffering and we condemn ourselves to suffering. We can condemn, we can defend the ego, and we condemn ourselves to ego. Eventually, as A Course in Miracles says, our tolerance for pain is high, but it's not without limits. Eventually, we have enough. If you're still thinking that suffering is good, then you're going to have a long life of suffering. There is another way. Shirley says, Jessica, you amaze me with all how much love you spread with all that you're going through. Agreed, Shirley. I agree. So the thing is, I can't emphasize this enough. Just don't make the ego the thing. Just don't make the ego the thing. Don't say I can't do that because it's only the ego. Don't say this is only the ego doing that. Don't make it real. The ego shows up, the ego navigates through life, but through it all, we recognize that we are not that. That's it. If you lift weights the pleasure of lifting weights. If you're doing it, if you're comparing, if my arm's bigger than this guy, are my abs better than this guy, then you see the ego shining through. Smile at it and go back to working out. Bhakti yoga, one of the 4 paths of yoga, is surrendering everything to love. That's basically what Jessica was saying. Just love. Sometimes you won't choose love. It's okay. Choose love again. It's always there. Sissy says, figured out the culprit to my suffering earlier. It was sure the energy drink. It was for sure the energy drink. Are you going to skip them? Replace them? Jessica says, I'm not always meant that way. I hope you always are here, Jessica. I hope we can always provide a place for you that you are deeply appreciated. And I hope that when you come here, all the love that you give is returned back to you. There's a reason why I do breath work whenever you ask, Jessica. And it's not because uh, I need to do breath work because Jessica asked. It is, I love to do breath work with Jessica because I love you. I do breath work with Jessica because I love Jessica. I think everyone in here, all of our regulars, would say the same. So remember, the ego is just that sense of I versus the sense of I am. So if you are working out, if you look at a piece of art, if you look at a Monet, Monet's been on my mind lately. You don't look at a Monet and say, um, man, look how much I appreciate the beauty of a Monet. No one appreciates Monet as much as I appreciate a Monet. This would not be as beautiful if I wasn't here to appreciate it. Hey, everyone, look at me appreciating Monet. Have you ever seen anyone appreciate Monet? You look at a Monet and you just appreciate it. You're lost in that beauty. When you're working out, you look at your muscles. It doesn't have to involve the ego. And if it does, don't worry about it. It does. Just don't make the ego the thing, the premise, the central point of everything that you do. That's it. Doesn't have we're not going to demonize the ego. We're not going to say that it's this. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's a belief construct. Buddhism, yoga, any sense of deep meditation that you practice, as well as neuroscience. No neuroscientist, no neurosurgeon can cut open the brain and say, ah, there's the I spot. There's the ego. There's that little commander calling all the shots. Let's remove him and he'll be a completely loving spiritual person. The ego doesn't exist. So we just stop making it the central focus of everything. It shows up and it shows up. It shows up and it says, look at my biceps. It shows up and says, uh, you know, whatever. So what? It shows up. It's an appearance. But you are the awareness to every appearance. That's the key. You are the awareness of every appearance. If you meditate every day for 21 days, the first realization that you have is, I am who you are, the witness. Has nothing to do with the ego. But that's why we're trying to not go too so deep. It's you can't let go of the ego. The you that wants to let go of the ego is the ego. That's why you don't want to get that deep. You just want to smile. You just want to smile. You want to be kind. You want to forgive. Because those things are the exact opposite of what the ego wants. The more you do it, the more everything happens on its own. So that's why I don't understand why you would think that the weather and your clothes and your wash hair would have anything to do with the ego. Do you need the ego to wash your hair? Do you need the ego to brush your teeth every morning? You do the things that need to be done. But without the ego, you do it very spontaneously and very joyfully. It just doesn't become a thing. It doesn't. Here's the difference. I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth. I don't wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and smile and say, man, you're going to slay them today with those white, pearly teeth. I wake up in the morning and I comb my hair. No, wait a minute. That doesn't happen. So the reason why their ego can't be controlled, can't be tamed, can't be fought, can't be bargained with is because the ego doesn't exist. It's not an entity. It's not a thing. It's an illusory wisp that goes through our mind claiming an autonomous nature, but it's not here. Where is it when you're in deep sleep? Who you are is not an ego. That's why you just don't want to make it something. Hey, Soma, I think while we're having this conversation, we're going to wait with people coming up. And I'm not going to be live that much longer. I need to take my medication, my supplement. Sorry. It says, "Hey, wouldn't it, bro? Uh, can society tell us what we have to do? Does it? Does society tell you what you have to do, or do we um, conform with society? We make society collectively. Collective is made up as individuals. If you want to change the world, change the way you see the world. Simple as that. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. Have a good night, Jessica. Maybe says it's like my dad doesn't exist. It struck me as sad, Nightmare. I don't understand, Skits. What exactly is your problem, though? You are a wonderful person, Selma, and you're very funny. You're one of my favorite people to hang out with. Skits says I piss people off so much just by being myself. It's not my fault. Skits, you and I have had some wonderfully deep conversations between us. As far as I'm concerned, uh, Skits, when we talk about this, you're giving me the perfect opportunity to talk about the things I love to talk about. The reason I started my channel. Do you realize the great gift and favor that you gave me, Skits? Do you realize what a true and wonderful friend you are for me? Skits, do you remember when I had my own little moment? Deep, deep sadness? You're the first person that reached out to me offline. Sometimes the ego makes people leave. Agreed. Hey, Leonard. Exactly. Leonard says it's like money, then it only has values because we believe in it. Yep, it's just paper. It's solidified energy. Lucy says, we love you, Skits. We do love you, Skits. Nightmare says, we love you, Skits. We do love you, Skits. RW says, hey, Selma, you're so adorable. And she is adorable. Hey, Phil. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. Bruce Lee. Thank you for that, my friend. Skits. I the great gift that meditation gives us. Here's a great gift that breath work gives us. Breath work is condensed meditation. You get all the benefits of meditation in not even a quarter of the time, in a sliver of the time, less than 5 minutes. Who laughed at you, Selma? Zephyr says, using intent. Nightmare says, you're perfect how you are, Skits. You've touched on society earlier. Everyone here loves you, and we are part of society. Man, every once in a while I talk about if I had a wish, what I would do in this instant. Right now, if I had a wish, it would be for the Skits to know how much he's loved and why he's loved. Because he skits. Nothing more. Because he skits. He says, I do have something funny to tell you guys. Nick Strink had his mouth hanging open because even though he's heard it all, we're extra weird. I love that thought of being extra weird. There should be a word for that. You know, you have extraordinary, extra weird, extra weirderly. Should be a specific word that someone brighter and more clever than me can come up with. Kat says, I love you, Yogi. I love you, Kat. I wrote a poem for Kat in 2001, and I hadn't even met her yet. I hadn't even met her here yet. This was published in 2002, which means I wrote all of the stuff here in 2000 and 2001. Two thousand, 2001, I was still relatively new to a life of sobriety, not knowing, being directionless, and not at all concerned about not having a direction. My previous direction was one of self-destruction. So not having a direction felt very refreshing. Not knowing and just letting things happen. And all I really wanted to do, I was working at a GNC retail as manager, assistant manager, and I was spending every bit of free time meditating and writing poetry and working out. I'm sorry about that, Selma. Never says, one of my favorite fighters once said, something external is strong enough to destroy you, only the internal can destroy you. Interesting. What do you make of that, Nightmare? I'm sorry, Selma, you had to go through that. Um, Sounds like there's been a tough time for you, Selma. I do want to reiterate that I think it's because I see people talk about how much they're battling the ego, or they can't let it go, or you can't let go what doesn't exist. You can't battle what isn't there. When you see that, everything becomes so much easier. Ego shows up, does its stuff. We realize we are not the ego. We smile, we proceed through life with kindness, with generosity, with joyfulness. When sadness happens, we look upon it with deep compassion, tenderness, caring. We're humble. We trust. Member says, I believe it, a strong mindset makes to untouchable. I'm a huge believer in working out your mental health as much as you do your physical. I wouldn't argue that. Although I think personally, to be truly untouchable is, Kat says, well, booger. It's an excellent point, Kat. I'm going to take that under deep consideration. As a matter of fact, tomorrow in my morning meditation, I'm going to enter that thought into the field of intent and see where it takes me. My own thing is at a certain point, um, the whole working out and the mental health, the whole aspect of self improvement becomes exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. Ellie says, I hope you like your new tat, Yogi Bear. It's not done yet. I already know that I will. So I will I will start beginning. Save up a little bit to get that tattoo. I might even do a poll. Where should I get it? What body part should I get a tattoo? I've been thinking about a forehead tattoo, guys. I got all this open real estate. I should be charging people. Should get I should get temporary tattoos, advertising stuff. I could be making some money here, man. Some serious cash. Amber says it can be exhausting, Yogi. I'll agree with you there. Imagine a world where nothing can alter your mood whatsoever, but at the expense of a continuous battle. There's another way of doing it. What if he just surrendered? Heavenly Star says, laughing, no, 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 forehead. But it's perfectly usable space that is going for nothing except supporting my eyebrows. Sniffle says, oh, you mean on your body? Yes, on my body. You meant which tattoo place I should go? So let me give you an example, Night Watcher. I struggled in 300-mile races that I could not finish. I'd get a little farther, a little farther. I would grit my teeth. And my fourth 100-miler, mile 40. Hey, Eric, Sardashian's here. It started freezing rain, hail, rain mixed with snow, windy. I could not find all the clothes that I needed in my drop bag. I was shivering. I had 60, a little over 60 miles. It was a little long course, about 103 miles, I think. My person who greeted me at the aid station, who was part of my going to pace with me later, made a phone call and said, hey, guys, I don't think you need to hang out. I don't think he's going to make it. He looks hyperthermic, pre stages of hypothermia, shivering. I think he's probably going to drop. I had a miserable 10 miles. Heading on back, the rain started to crystallize. Everything started seeming very magical. Everything was shimmering. It had a light, all the rain, all the freezing rain. It was like it was alive with light, or light being alive. And I started smiling and smiling and smiling. I stopped struggling. I stopped trying to run a race. I stopped trying to accumulate miles. And I just let go. Whatever was going to happen was going to happen. It was all okay. I felt a warmth from inside that warmed up my legs, warmed up my core. I was no longer shivering. And I knew my person I was running with was telling everyone, yeah, we're going to drop out when we get back to the turnaround before we head out again. We're going to drop. And I knew I wasn't. I knew I wasn't. I knew I was going to finish it. And that last 100 miles, even though later in the race, mile 80, there was some blisters, there was tired legs, there was all the stuff that pops up, that joyfulness of that surrender where I was no longer trying. I was no longer using emotional strength, which has a limit. Eventually, you will reach your limit of how far you can push yourself emotionally. And yet, when you surrender to something larger than yourself, you're carried by the winds of spirit. You're carried by the wind of God. You surrender to love, and everything becomes loving. You give up the fight because fighting is tiresome. Maybe in your 30s, you don't find it so tiresome. Maybe even in your 40s. Eventually, you give it up. And no longer, Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce said, I will fight no more forever. You can do that now. Hey, Environment, how are you? It's been a bit. Stardashians, how you doing, my friend? I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. One of the hardest person, Stardashians and Mary's gigs. Two of the hardest people on all of YouTube with the gig work. Lucy says, everything becomes clear later on. Lucy, you are so amazingly beautiful and insightful. I love all the things that you arrive at. You never cease to amaze me, my friend. Heavenly Star says, Fire Rose wouldn't look good up there. I'm of the firm belief that Fire Rose would look good everywhere, and that my forehead holds the potentiality to display the great artworks of the world. Enough energy transfer to make it home without the ego. The ego would have broken you if not. So I've talked to quite a few great ultra runners, some of the all-time best ultra runners. They all said the same thing. One of the reasons they started ultra running was that search for transcendence, of not running with the ego. If you talk to some of the extreme climbers, especially the ones without ropes, the free climbers, if you talk to the paragliders, they all go for that moment where the ego stops and it's a pure experience itself. No one's experiencing it. It's just the experience. But I want to tell you, you don't need 100 miles. You don't need to run 100 miles to get there. You don't need a free climb to get there, and you don't need a paraglide. However, that doesn't mean you don't do all those things anyway. You no longer need to do that to get that state, because it's who you are. It's always and already present. Temper says, Grand Risings, Environment. Stitch says, Duncan, 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 and Booger. I was waiting for the booger. That's going to be my new mantra. As I sit to meditate, I'm going to add booger. Danny says, good night, Yogi. Good night, Danny. We're going to go to bed soon, in just a minute, too. Hey, Lady Sky. Shirley says, Stitch, I think Duncan had a rough weekend. It's nearly midnight where he lives. Can we help you? She makes an excellent point. Booger. Varimat says, enjoying coffee, then going to buy chicken food, redhead, free range. Cat says booger. So both Cat and Stitch have excellent points. I'm going to take them both in consideration. Environmad fills in the details. Booger is dried snot. Ever had a cheesecake caramel dip before served with apple slices, Yogi? I have not. It sounds really good. They make vegan cheesecake, by the way. Cat's laughing. Cat says hi to Lady Sky. Stitch is laughing. Says Environmad said booger. It's the word of the day. You can thank Cat and Jack for that, by the way. He's going to try to turn it around, flip it on me. But who was the first person to say booger in this conversation? Emily says, thank you, Brother Nightmare. I can't wait to see my new potential tattoo. Such a work of our lives. Someone says, I'm leaving on Friday morning to go see my sister's house at Indianapolis. Sounds like you're going to have a fun weekend. Kat says, because I'm going to tell the truth, you came up with a big idea before this conversation. I don't recall. Hey, Solana girl. How are you, my friend? Said hi. I can't help but smile at when Solana girl comes in. Heavenly Star says, Zoogie Bear, a bugger. I don't know how this got started. I don't know why Cat's dragging me into this. I might have implied the word booger. I don't remember the exact context of the conversation that we were having. Hey, Solana. I really appreciate you stopping by. The fact that I've known you for so long and that you still take the time to stop by. Solana says, love to you. I love you too. Someone says, Solana and I both have S's in our names. Yep, they both start with an S. Hey, Mike. Stitch says, he, Yogi said, booger. I'm going to take a technical pass. Did I say booger or am I reading booger? And is there a distinction to be made? Lucy says, Mike and Venus, my good friends. So Lady Sky has me hungry for vegan cheesecake. Thank you, Solana. So, guys, I might have a silly question to ask. I see this. I don't actually know what it means. MLSL. What's that stand for? Lady Sky says, how are you, Cat and Jack? Selma says booger. Excellent point, Selma. Stitch says, laughing. Someone said booger, but so did you. All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. We'll be back. We'll have some more information about booger tomorrow. Seppa says, I thought you've been saying bugger. Bugger. Booger. Emphasis on the ugh. Lucy says, good night, Yogi Eric. Good night, Lucy. Hey, Lucy. Are we, yeah, I see that. MLSL. I see that come up. And Environment says, think it's meant to be me. So, miso, like the soup. It's a good soup. One of the few soups that I actually enjoy. Miso is good for you. Everyone should get some type of fermented food in their diet. Let's talk about that. Oh, are we in for Thursday this week? Shirley says, weird but great live, Yogi. What say you, the point? All right, let's wait for the final verdict. If we get a if we get and emojis, we know that the point agrees. Nightmare says, beats me. It was a weird but great live. Nightmare says, drum roll. Lady Sky says, how do I get to talk to you, Yogi? Thank you, Eric. The point, and we get the ants. If you click on the in the discussion, in the description, there's a link in blue. And if you click on that, you can come up. Let me know when you want to do it sometime. I'm going to go to bed in just a minute. Thank you, Eric Lapointe. For 12 months, Eric Lapointe has been a member. He, I believe, is him and Duncan, the longest members. I have a live stream. Not sorry. I have a members channel because of Eric Lapointe and Duncan. Without them, I would not have it. Major love shout out. Someone's going to come up and say goodnight, guys. Hello. Summer, we're just getting ready to go to bed.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. Major love shout out. Oh, MLSO, major love shout out. Thank you, Mike.
Hi, Erica Chicken. Hi, Soulstar. Hi, Shirley.
Awesome, Lucy.
Hi,
So again,
Sam.
Eric Lapointe, thank you so much.
Good night, Lucy.
Selina said, where'd she go? People say Krishna consciousness is a cult. I tell them, no cult. It is a spiritual lifestyle and code of conduct. You are absolutely right about that.
Hi, Sissy Star.
Thank you, Selina.
Booger. So,
Booger.
Yogi?
Yep.
I have a problem.
I'm sorry. What's the problem?
My brother keeps on saying Booger. He started it. Blame him. Don't blame me.
You keep saying it too. So does Stitch. So does Cat and Jack. The only one who has not said booger all night long is me. You have never once heard me say booger, have you?
No. I love how you say my name, Sarah. And I hate my name. So thank you, sweetheart. We don't hate your name. Your name is pretty, Shirley.
It is pretty. Sissy's laughing. You know why Sissy's laughing?
Yeah.
Because she's never heard me say the word booger before either.
I think someone started it. My brother.
Your brother started it?
Yes.
Good night, Eric Lapointe. Thank you. So, Selma, I'm going to have to go. I've made a promise to myself. I was going to try to get to bed early. Sitch says, Yogi and Selma, okay, I haven't said booger. I'm just reading the word booger. I'm not saying it. You haven't heard me say.
I never said it. That was my my brother.
Selma and I are innocent, aren't we, Selma?
Yes.
And we're going to stick with that. So, say oven, Yogi, oven. Am I supposed to say Oven Yogi or just Oven? Oven.
Don't say it, Yogi, because I think they try to trick you.
No, we know Lady Sky. Lady Sky is a really good person.
Yeah.
Oven.
Oven.
I'd rather say Oven than Booger. It says Yogi said Booger, Selma didn't. I'm sticking with my innocence. All right, guys.
I'm sticking to not guilty part, but the innocent.
Me too. We're in it together, Selma.
Yeah.
We got some unicorn vibes. So, Selma, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to bed because, like I said, I made a promise to myself that I would. Do you think that you could say goodnight to everyone for me?
Yeah. Good night, Sniper. Good night, Lucy. Good night, Stitch. Good night, Lady Sky. Good night, Shirley. Good night, Erica. Chicken. Do I miss anyone?
Did you say goodnight to Kat?
Good night, Cat.
Did you say goodnight to Shirley?
Yeah.
Did you say goodnight to? Did you say goodnight to me?
Good night, Yogi. Good night,
Good night.
Nightmare.
Good
Good night,
night, Selma.
Selena.
Selina.
Selena. And
Say goodnight to Lady Sky.
Yeah.
Mike and Venus.
Good night, Mike. And I was just gonna say good night, Mike.
All right. Did you say goodnight to Enviromad?
Good night, Environment.
And RW?
Good night, Arda.
Hey, down at the bottom is our good friend Hank's Art. Hank's Art has a beautiful, beautiful channel. Actually, a beautiful person. If you want to see some great instant artwork created in just moments, Hank's Art is the place to go. I haven't seen anything pop up for you in a little bit. I think I need to search you out. You usually come up on a regular basis, but it's been a bit. I apologize. Very much so. I love your channel, I love your artwork, and I love you, my friend. She says, sweet dreams, Selma. All
Good
right.
night, Hank's Art.
So, all right. Good night, Selma.
Good night, and you can say good night, and he will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5:25.
And one more thing before we go to bed. Booger.
Hey, and one more thing. I'm sticking to my innocence.
Okay.
Wait up, and one more thing. When I was dancing to Spanish music songs, the song was long. It was 33 minutes. It would never end.
Wow. That's a long dance. You must be tired.
Yes. I was like, dang, this lady will never stop singing.
I think that if Cat and Jack is still here, that you just put a big smile on their face when you said dang. That's one of Cat's favorite words. It's one of my favorite words to hear Cat say. And I like hearing you say it too, Summer.
Yeah.
Michael Burkeen says it too, but he'll add a dagnabbit. Dagnabbit. All right, so I really do have to get to bed. Summer, you gonna hang out tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll see you then, okay?
Yeah. Good night.
See ya. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.